Kravitz. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 16 of Great Race Plays right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your proud host, Howard Kravitz, along with co-host, the host with the most, the co-host with the most from the Saratoga Special and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Mr. Paul Halloran. Paul, how you doing this evening?
Coffee swigging Paul Halloran to you.
There we go. I like that. Late pick for Sunday, Paul. Very exciting. It is opening weekend for the spring meet as spring is fully upon us. And I want to wish everyone out there, whether you're watching this live or going to listen or watch as a replay, a very, very happy Easter to anyone that celebrates Easter out there, and a Good Friday, of course, to our friends and family of the podcast. Hope you enjoy a lot of food, maybe an Easter egg hunt, and then racing. On Sunday, Easter Sunday, there is racing at the Great Race Plays. I'm pretty sure in the infield they do a Easter egg hunt for the little kiddies, and that's always fun, Paul, and wonderful racing as well going on. Let's take care of a few quick items before we get into late pick four. On Sunday, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Fantastic tip sheet. Look below the video player. Very inexpensive, very profitable. HHH Racing Podcast. .com, you can find out some information, but to sign up for this particular tip sheet, you go to patreon.com/HHH Racing Podcast. And also, Paul, I'd be remiss not to talk about this. Our Derby and Oaks package is now available. Go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com, for details. Let me bring this up very quickly, Paul, because it's easy to get to. All you have to do is go to our website, which is right here on the screen right now. And then let me take the banner down here. You go to Power Picks Tip Sheet. You click on that. You go to Kentucky Derby Oaks and Derby Picks, and there they are. You can find out it is full card information. It is almost 20 pages of info. Most of the information comes from myself and my co-host, Pete and Paul, but other people do contribute as well. There's a sample of the Oaks edition. This is only half of it. And Paul, as I scroll to last year's Oaks edition, and this is the actual edition, people can look through it so you can see what you get if you want. But we did tip out last year, our good friend, there she is, Torpedo Anna. What was she, 4-1 last year? I think, Paul, something ridiculous, but we did tip out the winner of the Oaks. Put $10 on one of our tips. That pays for the whole darn thing. Again, 2 days worth, almost 20 pages. We would highly hope and recommend and wish that you would support our podcast, Paul.
I am just checking. I think she was about $10 in the Oaks. I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
She paid $10.98, almost 9-2.
Crazy with the penny breakage. So please look into that as well. Paul, great race place on Sunday. Like I said, it's their spring meet. Very nice late pick four. We've talked about the Sunday pick four now since the beginning of their championship meet in December. I really enjoy playing it. This late pick four, again, is a challenge.
Yeah, and we start with a stakes race, which is interesting.
Sure
I like it. You know, we do have one of our Northern Cal specials. They always give us one or two of those, but we start with a pretty damn good turf stakes, a grade 3. And I will tell you what, Howard, Santa Anita will have a huge handle on Sunday, because those of us on the East Coast by 3 o'clock will be getting a little jittery, not having bet Keeneland or Aqueduct. So
there you go. And it starts, we're going to start this late pick four in race 7, which we'll show in just a minute. 6 o'clock. Look, all the family's probably done by then. Your Easter celebrations are most likely over there on the East Coast, or beginning to end, and time to hit the ponies. The other thing I wanted to say also, Paul, very important, this Monday, for all you viewers and listeners out there, whether it's live or replay, this Monday we have our second annual HHH Racing Podcast Derby/Oaks Fantasy Draft. All 10, including Matt Miller, 10 of us on screen, 5 teams, 5 rounds. It's a snake draft. It's a lot of fun. But here's one of the most important parts. And I failed to mention this on our other Thursday show, but I'll send this out on X, and I'll make sure I email everyone as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a chance to get a free Derby win bet. That's right. Free Derby win bet. And Paul, originally we were going to do $25. I hear the ante's gone up a little bit. That's the rumor. We are going to give a free Derby win bet on this Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to be eligible for that, you must be watching our show 8 p.m. this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for our Derby fantasy draft, and find out how you can get a free, healthy win bet in the Kentucky Derby. Paul, we did a little math. I mean, in theory, someone can win several $100s very easily.
Yeah, well, a free bet. You know, you can go. You know, you could say, well, I want to get twice my money and take journalism, or you could get adventurous. You know, maybe take a 20-to-1 shot and get a comma in there.
Yeah, I mean, how cool would that be? So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, our HHH Racing Podcast, Derby/Oaks Fantasy Draft. Find out how to win a free bet in the Kentucky Derby, courtesy of your friends, the HHH Racing Podcast. All right, Paul, let's get into it. Late pick 4 on Sunday, Easter Sunday at Santa Anita, a real nice sequence. And as you said, my friend, starts with a stake race. How about that? It is the American Stakes. It's a grade 3. It's on the turf. $100,000 is the purse, 1 mile. Please note the rails are out 20 feet on Sunday at the Great Race Place. Field of 7. We do not have morning lines as per usual for our Thursday night show, talking about the Sunday late pick 4. I would probably say, Zio Joe, the 1, will probably be a soft favorite for O'Neill and Mr. Frey. Let's see where we're going here to start off the late pick 4, which starts in race 7 in Santa Anita. I'm going 6-4-1. Look at this. Paul's going 4-6-3. Now, interestingly enough, Paul, Zio Joe and Cabo Spirit ran very well in their last race, the 1 and 3. But we are not going with either one of those two in our top 2. We're going with some fresh faces, some newly turned 4-year-olds. You're going to go with one of those, a horse named Endlessly, which is the 4. McCarthy and Rispoli coming off quite a bit of layoff, but had a nice 3-year-old campaign. What do you like about Endlessly in the American?
Well, you have to. It's a feel-good story. How his owners were ill last year. Do you care to guess what their ailment was?
I believe. Let's put us on screen. Let me think here for a second. Would it be Derby fever syndrome, Mr. Howland?
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that. So here's a horse. Starts 3 for 3 on turf. Okay, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile turf was a little bit of a reach, but it sets in, and the worst thing that happens, he wins a few on synthetic and gets enough points to get in. So, and I guess you could look at it and say, well, Paul, he beat more than half the field at 48-1. But then they go after that ill-fated Derby run. They give him a few months off and run him in a difficult Belmont Derby. Trickery has proved to be the real thing. We saw him run a good race when we were at Keeneland last week. I just think this horse is back to what he wants to do, which is run a mile on turf on the West Coast.
Look, Oscar performance out of Langford Mare, excuse me. I mean, this horse obviously has run well on turf. I think this is a lot of faith, right? You have to have faith in McCarthy and the connections here. It's a long layoff. The numbers say he's not good enough. I've got this one second, Paul. We're thinking alike here. I just, I'm gonna expect him to run big off the layoff. A year older now. I think he's got a big shot. I know the numbers might not say so, but I think he does. Tom Espinoza, by the way, in the chat, Paul, us heathens out here in California love our racing. Happy to help with your Easter jitters. What's up, Tom? How you doing, Tom?
Did you read my reply?
Read your reply. Let's see. Tom, this is one Catholic who will be playing what better way to celebrate the resurrection? Paul, it makes me feel very good because those of us that know you know you're a very pious individual, and I was afraid, I don't know if he's gonna like gamble on Easter Sunday, but I guess it's okay, right? It's all good in your world, so you know
It's a
he
day of
will
celebration.
arise whether you gamble or not. Is that correct, Paul?
That's the plan.
Okay. All right. Look, I mean, I don't want to, make this like religious school, but uh, okay. Anyway, I think we should just move on before I get myself in trouble. All right, let's go to. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. We got breaking news, Paul. I
That's
know
all
this was discussed on our last show, and though you California fans aren't quite aware what happened, but on our previous show tonight, on our Thursday show called Picks and Ponies, where we discussed Oaklawn, we also did our Derby Fantasy Draft Lottery, where we decided the order. Paul, we have breaking news from Matt Miller. Howard, Charlie, and Noah are making the deal. So, Paul, Charlie apparently did not hear what happened there, but they are making that deal. Paul, the details of that deal for the fantasy draft will come out in an email later this evening, my friend, and you can read about it. But there's also already wheeling and dealing going on in the background for the fantasy draft. So very exciting. Okay. Anyway, I had to bring that up. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, wow. A lapsed Catholic, perhaps? Whoa, save the clock tower. No,
Nope.
Paul, right? No.
I will be at church tomorrow for Good Friday, and I'll be at Mass Easter Sunday morning, and I'll be playing Santa Anita Easter Sunday afternoon.
I think that's a wonderful plan for the weekend. I'm going to go with number 6, King of Gosford.
Yep.
Similar to Endlessly, this horse doesn't have near the layoff, of course, but again, ran very well, especially at the end of the year, improving buyers, faced, let's see, was that older in the, faced 3-year-olds in the Mathis Mile, almost won the Hollywood Derby. I mean, was really good at the end of the year. Used to be like more of a speed horse, learned how to rate and finish. This is D'Amato. I don't think he's going to be the favorite. It's Flavian. Very similar to Endlessly. We're just going with fresh-faced 4-year-olds, Paul. We're giving a little bit short shrift, I guess, to the 1 and 3. The 3, Cabo Spirit, almost wired the field at 31-1 in the Frankie Kilrow. And the 1 got a dream trip, Zio Joe, and just lost. My problem is they both got huge speed figs sort of out of nowhere. They both got great trips. And it just feels like this is one you want to play against, Paul, in this race.
Yeah, well, and you got to think that for the 3, for example, got to take some action off of that grade 1 third, right? And you're looking at a horse that has not been under double digits since July of 23.
Yeah.
Who's going to probably take a little more action than he should. 6-year-old. And I don't know what the odds are going to be, but it's interesting. We kind of went at the race the same way.
We sure did. And look, I'm using the 1. I'm not going to use the 3 much. I am going to use the 1. I have to use the 1. I mean, he's too logical here. I just want to go other directions. To open up the late pick 4 on Sunday. Let's go to race 8. Race 8 is a starter allowance 50,000 for horses that are based in Northern California. 6 furlongs, purse is 22K. Big field of 9. You know what, Paul? I don't even want to guess on who the Moyline favorite's going to be. I thought this was a very, very difficult race. So let's just go right to our picks here. I mean, if we have the same picks here, I mean, oh my Lord, are you kidding me? I'm going 6-7-3. Paul is going 6-9-4. Both going to go with Mimosas, not to be confused with Mimosas, which
Right.
might be flowing, I suppose. This is Mimosas for Bondi and Orantes. He is getting that 113.5 weight for being a bug. Talk about the 6 in this race. And again, Paul, I thought this one was very tricky as I go to race 8 right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I went, I started with, I don't really want the 1 for 13s in this race, Howard. So that eliminated a couple. So now I'm down to 7. And by definition, these starter allowances are often, horses coming off a win. So now you're trying to compare coming off the various maiden wins. I thought the 6s was just fine. They ran a decent third, took some money at Santa Anita. It's interesting that this horse is in this race based on uh, uh, the specifications of the race because he's run twice, both at Santa Anita. Yet it is for horses based in Northern California, so I don't really have that figured out. But anyway, my point is decent third in the maiden special, dropped down to 50 last time, won won the right way at 2-1, and again I thought that was as good a win. Kind of looking for a horse coming off a win. I thought that was as good as what was in here.
Yeah, I mean, I like lightly raced horses in general, Paul, and I know she got a good setup. She's on the inside here as the two horses. The one was 6-5 in this race, and this bomb, Sexy Blue, gets the lead. Look, she got a very good trip up the inside. You
Yep.
really can't argue that. But I like when horses pass up the inside. You'd think that she's going to improve. This is really not a field that is anything special here. She might need to improve a little bit here, Paul. There's not really much to see here. She's doing it very workmanlike. I'm not suggesting she's some kind of superstar, but I don't think you need to be a superstar in this field to win. And again, I like lightly raced horses. She projects to get a very good trip here, and I just think she's very logical in a race that frankly doesn't have any superstars. I'm going to go with Thirsty Trickster in for second, who should be stalking that one. This is a Stay Thirsty filly out of a hat trick mare, tricked again. I like the fact that Thirsty Trickster, Paul. This is Anton Jorny for Dean Pedersen, who is wow. I mean, he is 32% this year. I like the fact that she finally learned to rate a little bit, Paul. She'd been a speedball before that last year as a 2-year-old. Now she's matured. She was able to rate a little bit off the speed last time. This might feel like a jump, Paul. You know, it's starter allowance 50 from 32 claiming down to 28, but this is restricted again for Northern California horses. I just don't see this as that big of a jump. And the workout pattern again is very good. She had a minute handily after her win, seventh best of 19. I just think she's very logical. You've got the 9 in the mix there. I think it's Mania or Manai. I apologize. I don't know the spelling. Andy Mathis, very good. This one looks like also could sit a little bit off if necessary from the outside.
Yeah, again, sticking with another horse coming off a win, and I do agree with that. It looks both horses I took, Howard. They ran a buyer in the mid to upper 50s. Who knows what's going to happen here? You look at the 3, who's been very consistently in the 50s, but again, 1 for 13. You look at the 4, who put up a 67 at Fresno, I think. God knows how they came to that conclusion. Yes. But yeah, I do think the 9 could sit that trip. And, this is tough sledding. You do have the advantage if you're playing the pick 4 of seeing what the doubles look like into this race out of the 7th. I think that 7 that you talked about, Howard, I think that horse is going to take a good deal of money here, if not as much as anyone.
I think so. It's really hard to say. I'm very interested to see what happens in this race. You see, it's a fast-paced ball. Just very quickly, we're big on time form, and I should say, Paul, I think now is a great time to bring this up too. We are very happy to announce the good friends at DRF. We are now partnered with the Daily Racing Form. Thank you very much to DRF, especially Gino Piccola, Tom Quinones, everyone over at the DRF. We'll be doing some special features with them. They have tremendous product, as most people know. We're big supporters of their time form and formulator and everything. So we are very happy partnered up with DRF. But you look at the time form numbers there, you talked about, Paul, and you go to the 3, you see an 83 time form. I think that's the highest in the field as I scroll down. Actually, the 4 does have a back number 88. The 5 looks a little slow. There's the 6, okay, 73 to 80. So improving. Again, the 7 is high 70s, low 80s. Your horse, the 9, got a 79. I mean, it really is pretty wide open, Paul. This is definitely a spread race for sure. At least it looks that way on paper. Let's go to race 9. Race 9 is a challenging maiden special weight. on the turf. It is for 3-year-olds, restricted fillies. Excuse me, there's also 4-year-olds in the race. I apologize. 3 to 5-year-olds. We talked about this on the show earlier, Paul. We'll bring that up again. 60,000 is the purse. The rails are out 20 feet. It's worth mentioning. That might help the speed. This is a very big field and a real conundrum. There's a lot of ways to go. I actually have relatively strong opinions here, Paul, for a reason that brings up very bad memories. I know people are thinking, what the heck is Howard talking about? We'll get into that detail in just a minute. This is race 9. I'm going 10, 8, 9. Paul's going 4, 10, 11. So we are quite different here. Paul, we've got literally hundreds of people watching right now, especially off of the Santa Anita X handle. And speaking of that, Paul, let me mention we've been pushing. What's the handle again, Paul? Can you remind me? There it is. We've been pushing our YouTube channel a lot the last month or two, and thank you. We have over 5,000 subscribers. Now we really, of course, we want you to subscribe on the bottom right-hand side of the screen and hit the notification bell on the top right and smash that like button, of course. However, please follow us on X, and we have a lot of people watching on X right now. So what are you waiting for? Right there on my name tag, at HHH Racing Pod is our X handle. It's mine. It's the podcast. Please follow it again right there at HHH Racing Pod. We are on a march to 3,000 followers. We are very close. We'd really appreciate if you followed us on X. Now, let's follow this race, Paul. You believe it might be time to shine on Saturday. The number 4, Time to Shine, Glatt, Rispoli. There's a lot going on in this race. I think we got to talk about it for a decent amount. What do you like about the number 4, Time to Shine?
Well, I like a few things. First of all, the Not This Times are running. I was just looking at some of his progeny, Up to the Mark, Cogburn, Epicenter, up to 175,000 stud fee on Not This Time. By the way, a lot of karma moves here. Blinkers off, which is a high percentage move for Glatt. Second Start, which is a high percentage move for Glatt. This type of layoff is a high percentage move for Glatt. The fact that horses typically oftentimes improve more in their first to second race than in any other 2-race sequence in their career. This horse got in trouble some early last time. I think it was more of an education. Now, he didn't take money, which I get it. You could look at it as a negative, but he's going to take more money than 16 or 17 to 1 this race. Rispoli stays, which is, I think, another good sign. So I just think there's all sorts of positive indicators here. Can't hear you, Howard.
There we go. Host fail. I don't usually mute myself, but I had a little sneeze I had to take care of. I'm sorry about that, Paul, and everyone at home. With 17 to 1 coming out of that race there, Paul, was a very fast pace, came on late, was okay. That was her first start. You've got to believe she's going to improve. Rispoli now knows the horse a little better after riding her the first time. Now, there's a bunch of horses coming out of similar races here. Let me just talk about that. First of all, Kitty Marin, let me click on this. Kitty Marin, Innovative, and Time to Shine, the horse you like, are all coming out of the same race. Paul, I'm not a big fan of this race, and I respect your pick, and I'm going to use her. And I agree with everything you said. I just don't love a race where the second, third, and fourth place finishers were 13, 62, and 17 to 1. And visually, I didn't love it. Now, maybe I'm nitpicking, but you got to nitpick in these races. So I don't know. What's interesting also is brilliantly wire the field. The third place finisher was in second the whole time, but then Kitty Marin and your horse actually came from the cloud. So it was tough for me to read on, did it favor horses up front? Did it favor closers? I just didn't love the visual. Everything else fits, the numbers fit, but I'm a visual guy, and I just didn't love what I saw in general in that race. Let me bring this back here. I want some horses coming out of a different race, Paul. And my top choice, it was a horse that I don't know if Matt Miller is still on or listening, but he's not going to be overly excited to hear about this. The number 10, Cat the Confidant, raced in the last race at Santa Anita on March 15th. What happened that day? Well, Paul, that was the very last race of day 2 of the NHC, which determined who was going to move on to Sunday and finish in the top 80. So this was a huge race. I know Matt needed this horse to get in. I needed a horse that's not racing uh, on Sunday, but raced in this race. This was a complete nightmare for me because there were prices all over the place. I ended up not qualifying on either of my entries, coming up just short in the NHC. But Cat the Confidant, this race, Paul, I thought was loaded. Um, she did save ground, but she came running up the inside. It was a fast race. You see, they went 110. The number came back good. Knowing this race well, Paul, because I handicapped it in detail for the NHC, I know for a fact there are more well-regarded horses in this race than the Time to Shine race. Does that mean I'm going to be correct on Sunday? Absolutely not. But I do like what I saw. Second off the layoff, Sadler Barrios, all systems go. Okay, the outside post, maybe a slight concern. We'll see. My long shot, one of my long shots of this entire sequence, Paul, is in this race. It's not the number 8, Nafisa. It's actually number 9, Sunset Beauty. I'm not going to show the replay for time purposes, but this is Leonard Powell, second time starter for Flavian. And when you watch the replay of Sunset Beauty, this horse was climbing a little bit, Paul. And when a horse has high knee action and is climbing, that tells me they want the turf. And I just feel like with Flavian taking over, and based on what I saw, and you can see Dovima the Dam was pretty good on turf. Now, there aren't a lot of progeny out of Dovima, but the fact that Flavian takes over for Leonard Powell tells me a lot. The fact they're switching her to turf tells me a lot. In a field that's sort of meh, I think Sunset Beauty is going to be double-digit morning line, even with Flavian. I'm very interested in the number 9, Sunset Beauty. I do have the more logical 8 in second, Nafisa, who has numbers that absolutely fit. You like the 10, and you're also interested in Nima. Is that the AE? I hope I have that right. If Nima gets in, you have that one third?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was a curlin, but out of a dam that won 7 times on turf.
Freud, by the way, family of Freud.
Yep.
Yes. Baffert not too successful first time out 2 turns. On the turf. I don't believe. Actually, you know, I shouldn't say that.
It is a little. It's a little odd to see a Baffert 3-year-old debuting long on the turf that they paid $460 for.
Yeah, let's look it up. And I know the stats. I don't think this is gonna be very good for Baffert, but let's see here. Oh, in the last 5 years, he's actually only done it once.
Yeah.
That he's gone long on turf first time out. Usually he has them sprinting. Does have one winner though that paid well. Only 1 for 9. 5 of them in the money, Paul. So actually not quite as bad as I thought. The winner was, oh, look at this, was Tarantino. Nice horse. So the winner was a stake horse. So basically what that tells you is that unless that is a stake horse running on Sunday, and could be if she gets in, I don't know. Interesting. I don't have her in the mix because I don't think she'll get in. If she gets in, I'd let the board be my guide. I'd be a little bit negative, frankly, based on the stats, but she wouldn't be the worst selection if you trust Baffert going long first time out on the turf. All right, last race. This is how we're going to get paid on Easter Sunday, late pick 4. I'm going 5, 7, 11 in the finale. Paul's going 3, 4, 11. We certainly agree on the third place finisher. Not so much on the winner, as I'm going to go ahead and show that race right now. These are not the most talented horses on the grounds, Paul, but hey, they deserve to get in the winner's circle. And you know what? They might meet the Easter Bunny if they win this race. I got a feeling the Easter Bunny will be in the winner's circle for one of these races, perhaps with basket in hand, Paul. I don't know. We'll see. Maiden 20, 5.5 furlongs, maiden 3-year-old, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So there's no 5-year-olds. There are 3 and 4-year-olds. Like I said, I'm going 5, 7, 11. Paul's going 3, 4, 11. Paul, recycle your heart for Mathis and Ricky Gonzalez to close out the day.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I would want to Howard be at least 6 deep if I'm alive in this pick four. So
Wow.
maybe I'll just take my three and your three. Oh, we only have one common horse, so
Yeah.
I could be 5 deep with just taking our horses. I don't have a great feeling on this race. I do think that the three has some speed. Obviously, the four just outside also has very good speed. So that could be a downfall. Um, I took a look at the five, obviously, our guy Raylu. Just talk about the opposite of having speed. Although I will say this horse ran at Gulfstream and went off at 7-5
Mm-hmm.
back last year for whatever that's worth. I just think that there's a lot of drops here. I took a horse dropping from 50 to 20. Your horse is dropping 50 to 20. The four that I took second is dropping 50 to 20. So the eight has got a bunch of special races in. Thought it was interesting that Ricky Gonzalez rode the eight the last 4 times and ends up on this three for the first time. I don't know if there's a story there or not, but
Interesting.
it's yeah, exactly. That's a
Mm.
little red feather. You have a few first timers in there. Sadler, first time starter maiden claimer is 16%. So if you're interested in the 10, that's a good number. You have a Uso who's a really up and comer, Noah Mahar. Put us onto that truck. So a lot of different ways to go in this race.
Noah's going to be mad at you for mispronouncing his last name, knowing it this
Mar,
long.
Mar.
Eh, Well, that's okay. We'll let it go, Paul. It's all good. We
We had
don't
a
stand
great
here.
hockey player from Massachusetts named Rick Mahar.
Yes,
Spelled the same way.
not to be confused with Rick Mahone.
Definitely not.
Um, anyway, Maher, by the way, accent on the first
Maher.
syllable. That's
Got it.
okay. I screwed it up for like 6 months when he was a fan on the chat. Yeah, that's an interesting point on Blister in the Sun, Paul, because Gonzalez has been on the source 4 times and now switches to 3. That's very astute that you notice that. Yeah, there's a lot of drop downs here. I went with Raylu, who has switched his tack now to the West Coast. I'm curious to see how he does, Paul. I really think he's going to be out to get some clients. I mean, we know Raylu. You know him personally. I know him a little bit. He always tries. I just get the feeling he's going to have a real nice meet here, this spring meet. And maybe this horse literally will spring him on to bigger things. Number 5, Parade Down Broad, not Broadway, but just Parade Down Broad. I think there's enough speed. Came from the East Coast and then went to Del Mar in a tough spot and was waived for that claiming there. Then went to the turf and rushed up the inside going 2 turns. The 5 didn't want to do that. Hess gives her a little bit of a break. This is a very easy spot. I'm interested in the Parade Down Broad. Curious to see how she runs. You already mentioned. Actually, I've got a first-time starter. Angels Tipsy. I don't know. I mean, the works are okay. The breedings are okay. Steve Sherman is 22% this year. Can win debut main claiming. I have nothing real creative here. I'm just against Blister in the Sun. I don't know why Gonzalez would go off. And this horse has plenty of chances. She's fast though, but she just can't get the job done. She's probably gonna be the favorite, right, Paul? The number
Oh,
8,
I
I would think.
I would think so.
And neither one of us have her. I mean, we're using her, but not in the top 3. Coming out of that race was the number 11, who I have third, and you also, Wishful Winker, who was 4 wide most of the turn there and was on the wrong lead in the stretch. But I have a feeling this 4-year-old filly is going to be better. Again, has a race under her belt on the dirt, gets a nice outside post stalking. So the number 11, Wishful Winker, I think will be better than she showed last time. She needs to be, but I think she's a bit interesting. I just think you want to spread here, Paul, and be very creative in general. I think you'd agree in this last race.
Oh yeah, I think the more you could spread, the better.
I agree. Let's go to our best bets, Paul, on Sunday, Easter Sunday, in the late pick 4. You're going to go to race 7, which is a pick 3. It is not the $3 pick 3. This is just a pick 3 that starts in race 7. You're going to go 4-6 with 6-9 with 4-10.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. We talked about the two horses you and I liked in that turf stakes to start it. And then you go to the second leg. That's that Memosis horse. The two that I mentioned, Memosis and Maniae. And then into that maiden special with Time to Shine and Cat the Confidant. I was desperate to stay away from that last leg, if at all possible.
You know what? Well, I'm not as smart as you, so I actually played the $3 pick three, as you can see on the screen, but you might be right. I'm going to go to the $3 pick three, and I'm going to go 3-6-7 with 8-10 with 5-7, and just pray that I'm correct. I mean, it is Easter Sunday, so pray that I'm correct in the last race. That is a $36 play. I really enjoy. They have a $5 late double, just to remind everyone, and they also have a $3 late pick three. In fact, Paul, let's take a look. More details about those fantastic bets right now.
Now offered at the Great Race Place. $3 late pick three featuring the last three races. $5 late double on the last two races. Both with a player-friendly 15% takeout. Every race day at Santa Anita Park.
I can't do the Frankie thing. I can't do those arrows very well. He does it best. And Frankie not on the West Coast anymore, by the way. So interesting to see where he plans on going the rest of the year. Paul, it's a very challenging late pick four for sure. It's on Easter Sunday. I can't think of a better way than those of you that celebrate Easter to spend the time with family and friends. And then a little bit later in the day or at night if you're on the East Coast, when all the family goes home and you have time to relax, hey, play that late pick four at Santa Anita. Last thing real quick, Paul, and we haven't really talked about this, just real quick. There are some West Coast horses in the Derby. We are now just over 2 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. Journalism is going to be the favorite. Just out of curiosity, if you like Journalism, how low would you go on the win end, odds-wise, in the Kentucky Derby for our West Coast friends who might believe Journalism is a slam dunk?
That is a very good question. Well, if I really liked him, I mean, you got to deal with, first of all, it's very difficult without post position, because if he gets the one, the answer is no lower than 10-1.
For sure.
I would say at face value, everything being equal, if I really liked him, I'd probably want at least 5-2.
Yeah, I would never take anyone. Well, unless they're like, just super duper duper star. I wouldn't take anyone less than 5-2 in a 20 horse field. Even 5-2 seems a little low to me. I would take 3-1. I would take 3-1. I know you feel like you're nitpicking. Well, if you're going to bet, $100 on the Derby, whatever you're going to bet to win, it's just, more than you normally would. Every dollar matters. So it's going to be interesting to see what Journalism is going to be. Last thing before we go, and again, thank you everyone for watching. We had great family and friends and fans that we met at Keeneland last weekend, and we love our West Coast viewers, of course, as well. You, ladies and gentlemen, have been a great support of this podcast since late December, and we really appreciate it. Next Monday night, right here on the HH Racing Podcast, we are doing a Oaks Derby contest amongst the hosts and co-hosts. And it's a fantasy draft, and you at home will have a chance to win a nice Kentucky Derby win bet on us. But you got to watch the show next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Please make sure you spread the word. It's going to be a lot of fun on Monday night. For my good friend Paul Halloran, this has been host Howard Kravitz, episode 16 of Great Race Plays. We wish everyone a very happy holiday weekend. For those of you that celebrate, crush your bets at the Great Race Place this Sunday. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
is. If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.